Okay, we're gonna go back here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I forgot to hit the record button, but here we are. We are now recording this on January 23rd, 2025 at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so much for coming. So here are the top 5 highlights of 2024. The first one was meeting fans from the Asperger's Autism Group that was led by John Graham, who is here with us tonight. The fourth one, which I'm super proud of Mission Road because I've seen them perform the most, so I can really critique on how well they did. So they did really good here. And then meeting my artists at the International Singer-Songwriters Association. Pictured here is Bailey Perry, Christine Clifford, Candy Carpenter, who's here, Beth Hawley, Alice Perry, Randy O'Neill, Elliot Simon, and Christina Alexander. Want to make sure no one's trying to come in. Nope, we're good to go. And then we got seeing our names on the big screen. Look at that. Everyone, there's a couple winners in here. And if I forget your name, put it in the chat and let me know. But I know the band Wanted won an award. I won an award. Mission Road won an award. Christine Clifford won an award. Bailey Perry and a bunch of others. If I forget your name, please let me know and I'll let you talk about that. And then winning in person, it had a different feeling considering that like I've never gone to an award show and won before. So that was super exciting. And I got to share Mission Road's amazing win for their first time ever. Shout out to all of you for being here tonight. If you want to take a look and see if your name's on the screen, this was done because you guys RSVP'd on the Google Calendar. And then tonight's agenda, we are currently doing the introductions until 7:30. 7:30 to 8, Tom and Christine from AnswerNet are going to talk all about how they can help you in the industry manage booking appointments, answering phone calls, and much more. And then we also got Kevin Wilbert joining us tonight from Rewind Radio. And the people wanted to know what to watch out for in the music industry and give radio tips. Also, we have Christina Alexander from Mission Road is going to give us a little motivational speech. And someone's here that she might get mad at me for being here, but they wanted to see this, so I let them in. But aside from that, the importance of social media, she's going to talk about that tonight. And then we're going to finish off with some 2025 plans, and we're going to start that a little bit now and a little bit later. We're going to re-go over the housekeeping notes because 6 people just joined since we started. Microphones will be muted at all times unless if there's a question for me, Christine, Tom, Kevin, or Christina. The camera is optional. To get our attention, you can either put it in the chat, raise your hand, or request to be unmuted. This is meant to be a friendly, informative, and fun session. We ask that everyone is respectful of others and be considerate of the speaker's attention and time. At the end of the session, we will be providing you 3 things: the presentation, the recording, and the survey. And finally, grab a snack and drink, and most of you are eating dinner right now, so sit on your couch, eat that dinner, eat it up, and let's get started. Mary Jackson, I hope you're here. Mary Jackson, let me unmute Mary Jackson. Okay, gotta find your name. Okay, we're gonna unmute Mary Jackson.
I'm here.
Oh, I don't know how you did that, but okay. I pushed the button. Highlight you and then put you over here. Okay, now I can see you. Perfect. So we have done an event called To the East from the South. We started this last year. Myself and Mary have put this together, and we're so excited to announce that we're going to be bringing it back this year. Did we decide if we were going to do it March 29th or April? We couldn't do the April 5th, right?
Yep. So right now, it tentatively is March 29th.
Okay. Yeah, right now we're gonna do March 29th. And then for those of you who is coming for ISSA, we are going to be putting this hopefully together. I think we're gonna do the Tuesday of ISSA week. That's what a lot of you told me. I know Christine was one of them that told me she wanted to do it on that Tuesday. So we're looking at 2 tentative places. The first one was at the Palace Theater in Gallatin. And then Mary, share with us a little bit about the farm that we were looking to do it at.
Okay, it's called Starstruck Farms or Starstruck Barn, and it's in Gallatin also. It's probably about 20 minutes from Just Love Coffee, if any of you guys have been there. And this is a place that was renovated. It used to be owned by Reba McEntire. And so the barn has now been made into like, I think, what did she say, 2-level suites, and they've got lots of little, the tents, little houses out on the property. And they've taken, and it's an event center. So they have live entertainment all the time. Now, if you're local here and you want to play there, you can either, I think if I remember correctly, you can either sell tickets at the door and they get a percentage of the ticket sales, or you can, I want to say, maybe do the tips, just do tips. They give you a meal, and it's really growing. It's a really popular place to perform and for people in the industry to be there and see folks and everything. But we just thought it would be kind of a cool place possibly to do from the, our to the east from the south. So we're waiting to hear back from them because we need to meet with them and see, would it be a better place for us to do it there, or should we do it at the theater? Because there's a cost with the theater, and we want to charge tickets this time so that it can cover cost and all that stuff. Now, the other thing we're thinking about doing, because we've solely focused on Autism Tennessee, there are other organizations that are, nonprofits everywhere, right? So we're thinking about possibly having some other organizations be there. So it would be sort of like a resource fair / music event. And they would be able to set up a table with all of their information for resources. I've done a lot of resource fairs or events with different organizations that are there to let the public know what's available to them. So what it would be is they would be able to set up and people could check them out and stuff, but then people could decide who do they want to put their money toward. So we would take donations again, of course, because I think it's really good for us to keep To the East from the South event tied with nonprofits and raising money and giving back to the community. I think that's really important. And it says a lot about us as a group of people. And, both experiences that we've had, the heart of all of the musicians that were there was just kind of overwhelmingly wonderful. And so I know I greatly, greatly appreciated it. And I know Kayden did too. I think we had a lot of fun.
We did. It was a lot of fun, and I know a lot of you are new. A lot of you are my new clients, so you don't know anything about this. We just wanted to bring that back up. Tommy Parham said that they're already booked there for May. One of my artists already booked at the farm in May.
Okay, well, okay, so Jay will let us know when we talk to her what's available. So he's saying in May he's booked to perform.
Yeah, they're booked to perform. He said Dan Maudlin booked us for May.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Okay, we'll
So,
have to let us know how it goes.
yeah, please let us know. I didn't know that. That's great. I'm glad you guys are going there. Christine said, just a thought, can we also do a virtual concert to raise money? Live performances online. I would be interested to help in this way. Yeah, we
Oh,
can do that
yeah,
virtually.
we've talked about doing that,
Yeah.
but we haven't done that. But Christine, I think it's a great idea.
I agree.
We
Awesome.
can do it. We can do it through oh, what's it called? Nowhere seat. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. I'll figure it out. But you can charge, we could do a concert through them and then charge tickets for people to watch. And that money could go, you know, so.
Yeah. Mary, can you touch on a little bit of what you do in the autism world?
Sure, yeah. So I've been an ambassador advocate and now I'm a trainer with them since 2018. I am been parenting over 24 years. I'm just looking at what you've written. I have 3 kids. 2 of them are on the spectrum. My oldest has a lot of sensory issues, but not, nobody was really diagnosing back then. So my life has been sort of consumed as an advocate, getting services for my children, making sure they have what they need in schools. I'm certified to go help other families as well. Now I am training, and actually we're going to be doing it at colleges and various universities and stuff, for the early signs and symptoms of autism, how to help staff, how to help families, positive behavioral intervention for kids. And oh, I see Christine. Oh, well, how old is your grandson? And many of you in here that know us know Lily, who is one half of Sisters J. She had a really traumatic experience at 5 in her special ed classroom. And so I spent many years trying to change the law in this state to protect children. So it really took my job as an advocate and really jacked it up. And so I've been putting on events for many years, like I said, in the public, and I just have a real passion for resources, tools, things to help families. What are your rights legally, that kind of stuff. Because, when I was starting out, there was nobody to help me. I was completely alone and there was not a lot of information. So I just think it's really important. And I think us doing these events to the east from the south really, I mean, we're just like this small little part of the world scratching, the surface, but we're making an impact in the world.
I'm muted. There we go. One
Um,
more question for Mary, and then we're going to move because Mary's going to do more talking on Saturday. We're going to move on. Are you doing any AI with your work? Keith Bradford wants to know.
okay, am I doing AI with which work?
I'm assuming with To the East from the South. Keith, can you clarify? And I love to see that a lot of people, a lot of these artists have autism too.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you. So we're going to all band together. Am I using AI? Yeah, for what?
yeah, can you clarify, please?
I can tell you that I am not allowed to use AI as an author. I had to sign a contract with my publisher that they don't let us use AI. But I don't know
Yeah.
who asked the question?
I was Keith Bradford. He's with the National Broadcasting Network.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're waiting for his question. And Brandy and Craig, thank you all for sharing with us about, the individuals in your family. Autism Tennessee has great resources across the state of Tennessee, and they are the sole nonprofit in this area that's geared directly toward individuals with autism of all ages, and then families and caregivers who are taking care of them.
Absolutely.
Okay, somebody wants more, the barn. Being a part of it. Okay, so is that Cindy or Candy? I can't see the name. Hold on. That asked the question about the barn. Candy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have more information about that after we have our meeting.
Yeah. Okay. He said AI is being used to communicate with autistic students.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a whole lot going on with that. I don't know. I'm not using it. I don't have to use it with my children, but there are other people who are using it. Yes, so I am very aware of that. Actually getting ready to take a class on it.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Mary. We're gonna talk to you more on Saturday, but I'm gonna go ahead and meet you now. Let's see. Brandon wanted to quickly explain. We got just a few more minutes because I need to get through a few more things before Christine and Tom take over. But Brandon, are you here?
Yeah, I got you, Kayden. I'm here.
Okay. Since you said your phone was gonna die, we're gonna skip to you. Tell everyone what CRS is, and just very quickly, if you could do it in like a minute. Give us a minute scope. That would be great.
Yeah, so Country Radio Seminar, this is my 6th year I'm participating in, and it's really just a platform where you got radio stations that report, stats and numbers and stuff like that for spins and, artists that they play and stuff like that too, plus their shows and what have you. They get in a bunch of categories, and it's a big event. I'm sure you guys have all heard of it. They usually do it in February or March or whatever. It's coming up the 19th to 21st of February, and great platform to get out there too. And a lot of the managers, labels, or someone usually buys the badges and stuff like that too. There's a number of events and seminars you can go to. So if you're in town, February 19th to 21st, myself and Kayden are going to be there actually doing my radio show, The Backstage Pass, live from Nashville at the Omni Hotel where it takes place. 2.5-day event. You can go to seminars. You can buy the badge. It's actually crs.com, and that's the dates. And I think it's special pricing is on there too. I think if there's still passes to sell, things like that. But you can learn a lot from the music industry. There's panels, there's seminars, all that good stuff out there too that you can attend. Also shows if you want to attend to. But it's a great networking opportunity, great marketing opportunity. I'm going to be there with at least 2 or 3 of my sponsors for my show out there, and Kayden is going to help me co-host the event the 19th or the 21st on my show, The Backstage Pass. which is now, growing. We reached 450,000 listeners over the last couple of years, which has been phenomenal on that for all the stations that we're on. So country radio seminar is exactly what it says. And if you guys can go, I mean, it's a little bit of a dime to spend the money, but it's money well worth spent because, again, you put a face with a name. That's relationships. We're in the business for relationships. And once you have that, they put a face with a name. It's amazing what type of interviews and what type of growth you can have with your brand. So that's kind of my thing is I wanted to pitch in that Kayden and I have worked together. We did last year's CMA week in June of last year. It came out really good for the both of us. He did his show from the Music City Center. I did mine. But this will be his first one, my sixth one overall. And so each year they get bigger and bigger. And this year they had a lot of media. So it was tough to get passes, but I secured a couple so we could interview a lot of great artists there and then also network on our downtime. So that's kind of what it is. If you have the money and you want to go, trust me, I've gone broke the last few years to to attend it, but it's been well worth the investment for me to do it because I've seen my company grow leaps and bounds. So
awesome. Really, really quick. Is there? Okay, let me see. Craig asked if we need any photographers. No, I don't think so. Brandon, we don't need anybody, right?
Well, let me say this. It would be good to have one if somebody's going to be there because I have tried to hire one in the past of just people that I know on kind of a name basis. And of course their availability. I know as far as, what you're looking for, compensation wise to shoot wouldn't be bad to like have somebody, take the pictures because artists are going to take pictures there. And sometimes I forget to give them like my phone after the interview is done. So just kind of have him get in touch with me, I guess, so we can go over some details and I'll try to, availability, what days I'm going to be there, all that kind of stuff, which is a 2.5 day event. And all the interviews take place in the media room at the Omni Hotel. And then we go out, like I said, to the restaurants and to all the bars and clubs surrounding Bridgestone Arena. And Kayden, we might need a photographer. So just have him get in touch with me if that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Last question, and then we're going to gear up towards Christine and Tom. But Mary asked if this is only for country artists.
Yes, to answer the question, I think it's yes, because it is, again, country radio seminar. Aristo PR kind of heads it and puts it on. So they have to go through a committee. Like I said, these are, hard to get. Any credentials media wise are hard to get, but they go through a committee and evaluation. You submit your stuff and stuff like that. And some people get denied, but if it's country music and you're, a record label or, management or your team, somebody in PR is working that because like all the interviews we set up in advance. So you really have to have a badge or at least, know how to work the system to get somebody else's badge to put around your neck to get in that media room. Because if they don't see a badge, they don't allow you in there. And you really have to really be a country music artist to get in that room. You can still go throughout the hotel and network and talk and stuff like that. There's a bar in there called Bar Lines, which is really good. It's close to the Hall of Fame for the Country Music Hall of Fame, which is just down the hall there. But yeah, for the event itself, to get inside the media room and to kind of like, go up and down that floor, they're always looking at that badge. They may not come up specifically grab the badge to see whose name is on it, but as long as that badge is around your neck, it's really for country music artists, and that's what they kind of stick to because now there may be different variations of people's music, but for the most part, they stick to country artists, and of course, somebody's paying for that badge, whether it be the PR company, the manager, or the record label. 9 times out of 10, it's not the artist. It's not the artist paying for that badge themselves, but I know some artists who have spent it out of pocket, who some find it beneficial and some don't. So,
Absolutely. One more question, and then we're going to hand it over to Christine, West, and Tom. We are currently CMA members. Is the event connected from Candy?
No, these are 2 separate events. If you're a CMA member, that's for the Country Music Association. That's for what takes place in June when they have CMA week. This is a totally different country radio seminar, is a totally different organization in itself. And all the money they take in are basically that helps to grow the event. And usually if it's a radio station going there, somebody is buying their pass or buying their badge, which for them, it's like right around $600 or something like that too. But a lot of times they're going there with their affiliates if it's radio stations who are paying that money. So no, these are 2 separate entities like CRS.com and CMA Week, because I'm also a CMA member for my brand. And so no, these are 2 separate entities and 2 things that are not affiliated. No.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. We're going to give the floor to Christine and Tom. Like I've mentioned before, a lot of you have answered A lot of you have called me and you've heard a receptionist. Now, Christine West is with AnswerNet, who I currently work with. They have a team, I think about, Christine, if I'm wrong, let me know, around 10 to 15 people that are in a call center in Allentown, Pennsylvania that do calls for me. And a lot of you have spoken to Tammy Krukaru, who is an amazing woman. I'm so blessed for Christine and what our paths have clashed together. And I'm just so excited to have them talk to you about how they can help you. All right. Christine and Tom, are you here?
Yep. We are. Thank you.
Awesome. Are you guys
Hey,
good?
everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Yeah, if you don't mind skipping 2 slides to where our intro parts are.
Yeah, I got you.
Cool, thanks.
right
And yeah,
here.
just to speak to the part about the agents. So in our Allentown office that currently supports callers that are calling in for Kayden's, any inquiries Kayden has or appointment scheduling, things like that. We have about 15 to 20 agents that pick up those calls. But throughout the US and in Canada, we have 20 sites, and each site has around 20 to 30 people. So we have the ability to really expand. But we can touch on that later. I just wanted to clarify since that was kind of like fresh in my mind. So quick introductions. I'll introduce myself quick, Tom will, and then we're going to kind of go back and forth about some information, and we're going to allow for some questions. We didn't want to talk at you too much. We wanted to allow questions as much as possible. Just to briefly introduce myself, as Kate mentioned, my name is Christine West. I'm a national account executive here at AnswerNet. I've been with AnswerNet for about 12 years, a little over 12 years. I actually started as an agent 12 years ago. I was in one of our mailroom facilities at one of our nonprofit sites. So AnswerNet does a bunch of different things, one of which is nonprofit work. We have a whole nonprofit division. And I was opening mail for 8 hours a day for about 6 weeks during our busier time at the end of the year. And then the team decided they wanted to keep me on, which was great. I wanted to stay because I loved AnswerNet. I loved the opportunities. I loved seeing the growth that, so many people had been there for like 10, 20 years, right? So it's like, what is this place where there's people that are hanging around, right? That's kind of unusual. So eventually, after being an agent for a few months, I was moved up to a team lead role because something became available. And then about 4 years ago, I became in the sales role. So I was moved into business development, which is amazing, which is what I'm still doing. And like I said, tons of nonprofit work that I'm experienced in. But since I've been in the sales role, I've spoken with many people similar to Kayden, but all kinds of things, medical facilities, basically anyone who needs contact center support, answering emails, picking up the phone, calling someone, we can help out with. Tom, do you want to briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah. I don't have quite as long of a tenured history with AnswerNet as Christine does. Little background on me. I've been working here for about a year now. I am a national sales executive with AnswerNet. Previously, before this, growing up, I played a lot of sports, a lot of baseball, and a lot of hockey. I gave up my baseball scholarship going into college so that I could write a book. I self-published a science fiction novel, so I absolutely love when I get the opportunity to work with artists. Yeah, I not much. Not as much to say as Christine, but really nice to meet you guys. Looking forward to potentially meeting some of you.
Yeah, it's lovely being on with so many creative folks. So like such a fun online event. Like, thank you, Kayden, so much for putting this together. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Tom, I think you were gonna go a little bit into the overview.
Yeah, a little bit
Next
of an
slide,
overview.
if you don't mind, Kayden. Thanks so much.
Yeah, so as Christine said, our corporate HQ is in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, but also as Christine said, we have over 20 sites in the United States and Canada. We got a couple up in Canada. We also offer Spanish and French for a little bit more flexibility for our clients. We have 3 or 4 bilingual sites, so tons of flexibility. We were founded in 1998, and we can trace our roots back to the 1920s. Don't ask me how. I just something that I've heard from my boss and other managers. We're a full inbound, outbound, and BPO service company, business process outsourcing. And every year we have about 125 million contacts, whether it be through phone, email, text, chat. We do a lot of social media campaigns. And at the end of the day, our mission is providing our clients with business processes and technology that will help run their businesses their way. Our motto is we're the business of any. So just because we haven't done something before doesn't mean that we can't find a solution for people who are thinking outside the box.
Yeah, we don't say no, we say AnswerNet. If you want to jump to the next slide, if you're done, Tom.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool. Yeah. So what I thought I was going to talk about is a little bit about what we do for Kayden and how that may be relevant for any of you folks. And the main point I want to get across here is that, like Tom was saying, we're in the business of any. Don't say no, say AnswerNet. And what that means is we try to accommodate any kind of budget. And Tom will get into some pricing, but basically everything that we can do is, customize and personalize based on what your need is. So for example, for someone like Kayden, we started out, and we've expanded. We started with just taking messages. So someone was calling, Kayden's maybe conducting an interview or doing something like that. He can't pick up the phone. What we do is he's routed his phone, so his office phone, over to our folks over in Allentown who pick up the phone, and the answer is if they're Kayden's receptionist. And if some of you call Kayden, you've probably spoken with our agents. They'll ask some questions just to clarify why they're reaching out. And we also have FAQs. So if someone's calling in and they're like, hey, is the interview that Kayden's doing, is that going to be recorded live? We have information in there being like, actually, it's going to be recorded for, a video to be uploaded later on, kind of thing. So we have like those kinds of instructions. Or what does Kayden offer? If someone's just calling in because they were referred to him, we can give a brief overview of how Kayden can help anyone out. And we can do the same for you folks, right? If you have anyone who you're reaching out to or who may be reaching out to you and they have a question, we can have that same kind of FAQ. Like what we do for companies that may be like HVAC companies or nonprofits. For nonprofits, we take donations on demand, right? We can use a web form. If it's an HVAC company who needs someone that's going to be needing an on-call in the middle of the night, like an urgent call, we can pick that up. I've had people who use our services specifically for personal based ones. So someone who's very busy, professors, I've had a lot of professors who utilize our services where, they can't pick up the phone during the day because they're teaching or whatever, or maybe they want to have someone monitoring their calls, or just anyone who wants to have that kind of professional touch. So what we do is we pick up the phone that's specific to however you want us to answer it. So like for Kayden will be, thank you for calling KGG Media and Promotions. This is Christine. How may I help you? If someone asks a question, then we kind of go through the flow, whatever we've decided on. We can also schedule appointments. So with Kayden, we utilize his Appointlet link to book an appointment. If someone's saying, I'm looking to book an appointment for so-and-so date with Kayden to have an interview, we can utilize his form and book that appointment so Kayden doesn't have to worry about it. Other little things like transfers, if someone wants to be transferred over to Kayden, we can do that if it's urgent and if he's available. And then if he isn't available, we let them know, and then we kind of guidelines. So we're like, okay, I've sent a message over to Kayden. He got my text. He's going to reach back out to you as soon as possible. Email management, we can actually answer emails. So if someone's sending an email and they're saying, hey, I want to book an interview or whatever, we can go into the same thing, go into your web calendar, book an appointment. We can give them a call just to confirm, those kinds of things. Speed to lead is a similar kind of idea. How we utilize this most often is if you have like something on Facebook for an ad and someone fills in the information looking for more information, we can get that lead sent over to us by email, and the next available agent will give them a call and be like, hey, this is what's going on. If there's any pre-qualifying questions about services, area, whatever it is, we can ask those questions and then either book an appointment with them or transfer them over. We do a lot of that kind of work for law firms. If someone needs like someone to pre-qualify in terms of what like their request is, if it's like a civil suit or whatever. Basically, end of the line, we act as an extension of your business. And that goes the same for outbound. I'm not going to touch on outbound too much because I don't want to take up too much time. But basically, something that we do, for example, for Kayden, and we can do for any number of people, is appointment confirmation calls. So every Monday, we have one of our agents, Tammy. She works very closely with Kayden, both taking incoming and doing outgoing calls. And that will be, for example, on Monday, we'll reach out to folks just to confirm, interviews or general calls or whatever it may be, just to make sure that we have that confirmation, which obviously is going to reduce no-shows at the end of the day. Once you have this sort of confirmation, will you be attending Kayden's interview? Great. The last thing Kayden needs is like someone doing a no-show, right? Data hygiene, that would just be something that is related to if you have like a list of leads and you can just check in, is this email address correct? Is this still their web address? Is this still, where they're located? Those kinds of things. Third-party verification. This is something that we do for promoters or anyone who maybe has like a contract to explain a contract to someone who maybe, they want to make sure that, okay, is this when we're promoting your music, are they going to be playing it on all radio stations? Do you understand like the pay cycle? Do you understand when what is due? So this third party verification is like, rather than, for example, Kayden having to do that work, you have a third party person that has it in recording to sort of further solidify that contract. A lot of these kinds of third party verifications are used for companies that are like solar companies because they have that requirement, but it's great for other folks too who want to have that assurance and they don't have to worry about being like, did you understand the contract kind of thing. That was kind of all I wanted to say on virtual reception, unless Tom, you had anything you wanted to add.
Oh, that was wonderful.
And like ultimately at the end of after this presentation, I know that Kayden's having another call on Saturday and this is recorded, which is great. Our information is going to be available for you. You can reach out to Tom and me. Feel free to let Kayden know to do an e-intro and we can customize a quote for you if this is something that you think that would be useful for you as well. Do you want to go to the next slide, Kayden? Thanks. I didn't want to touch too much on anything specific here other than the fact that really drive home that we are compliant with anything related in North America or even in Europe. We have clients at AnswerNet that are European clients. We have ones in Australia. We have ones US, Canada, all over the place. So basically, because we're a contact center and we have folks, organizations and folks that are located everywhere, we need to make sure that we're compliant. So we have thorough audits that are done every year to make sure that not only are our networks secure, but that agents are handling information properly. So there's certain requirements that they have in terms of their workspaces, no paper around, things like that, but also masking calls. So we do a ton of order entry too. Like we have clients where we'll handle their calls during a busier time of season in terms of processing actual credit cards, whether it's a donation or a request for food or something like that, like a consumer good package kind of thing. We'll take those orders and we'll enter that credit card information, but we have ways of masking the phone number, or not the phone number, the credit card number, so that it's not heard anywhere else. And we have strict guidelines in terms of who we can hire. We do background checks, things like that. And we have a few awards here. We also have our Trust Pilot, and we also have a bunch of testimonials on our website. And I'll send those over to Kayden if he wants to. You can share them after the meet as well. And that was it on that slide, Kayden. Tom, I think you were going to chat on the slide.
Yeah, so the pricing, before we get started, we have two different types of agents, shared and dedicated. What you see on the screen here is a small breakdown of our shared agent environment at AnswerNet. So our shared agents, the difference is they work on multiple different accounts. They're not specialized on any one given account. They're just trained on all of them. Simplest way to explain how the minutes kind of break down and how they work for you is that it's kind of like a prepaid cell phone plan. We try to get as close to how many calls and how long the calls are to match with the minutes that you need every month on your contract. You prepay for the minutes, and then those minutes are used for our agents to handle your calls and represent your business. We have month-to-month contracts, so we can be flexible. I know that Christine mentioned HVAC companies. When it's a heavy season, we can up the minutes, and then when it's going to a down season, we can decrease the minutes. So super flexible. Something to note: I have been with a couple other call centers before, and it's not something that they always mention. We bill in 6-second increments. What that means is that every 15 seconds, or say you have a 15-second call, we will round to the nearest 6-second increment, and you will only be billed, and that will only eat out of your minutes every 6 seconds. Other answering services, they will bill in 1-minute increments. So, you get a 15-second solicitation call and they'll charge you for the entire minute. With us, your minutes end up going a lot longer. And as mentioned before, we have dedicated agents. These are our specialized agents and they're only trained on one account. Generally, they're for our higher contact, higher volume accounts. As you see at the bottom of the screen, it's $32 per hour, whereas our shared agents are billed by the minute. And then the overage fees right there, $1.20 for the 100-minute package, and so on and so forth.
And one thing that we can do with dedicated agents and what we do with Kayden is because we do those outbound confirmation calls, He utilizes us 1 hour a week, sometimes 2 hours a week, depending on what's going on. So we can also have project-based or lower volume dedicated support, kind of based on what the complexity of the work is. And that would be like a sidebar conversation. Like Kate and I have had many conversations to phase in different levels of work for him in the years that he's been an AnswerNet client. And that's certainly something we can do too. So we could start with, for example, the 100-minute program of $115 a month to answer your calls, FAQs, book appointments, things like that on an inbound level, and then phase in other things if needed. So basically, we really want to drive home the fact that it's very customizable. We're really a people-oriented company, so you're getting live folks. I recall we were speaking earlier, some people mentioned AI. It's not that we aren't interested in AI, but we really focus on live folks. So yes, we have AI options, but we prefer wherever possible to do live folks, because when someone wants to speak to someone, they want to speak to someone, right? Tom, did you have anything else you want to add on this slide?
Yeah, just two more notes. For the basic answering service accounts, we do have a lot of complex accounts with the dedicated agents, and we're working within client CRMs and all that good stuff. The one-time account setup fee that you see at the bottom, the $150, generally with the smaller, more straightforward accounts, I can normally get that fee waived, so saving money right off the start. And the holiday fee, I don't think that we've touched on it yet. We're 24/7, 365. So at any point in the year, if you need staff to answer your calls, we have your back. And the $20 holiday fee is just because the agents, they get time and a half, and so it's just a flat fee with the holiday fee.
Awesome.
One thing I think you should mention too, because you guys have done it with me. You guys do not charge the holiday fee if you guys do not answer calls on holidays.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's something we can negotiate if you know that you don't need us to pick up on like January 1st, New Year's Day or something like that. We can definitely have that conversation. That's quite fine. We don't want to hold back helping you folks if it's $20 is going to make a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Kayden. That was a good point. So here's our contact info. As I mentioned, I'm going to send Kayden some links to our Calendlies, to our Trustpilot, so that he can share that with anyone who's interested. But if anyone has any questions right now, we did leave 15 minutes open for that, or we can keep chatting about anything that Kayden has planned for 2025. I don't want to put anyone on the spot. Yeah.
I'll wait a minute to see if anybody has anything. I'm checking the chat just to see.
Yeah, and there's no commitment to, while we're waiting, there's no commitment to any kind of monthly program with us as well. Like I've had someone who needed support for 2 weeks, and we supported them for 2 weeks when their office was closed, and then they come back twice a year for support, right? Or it can be like ongoing. So as like something ramps up, let's say you only need like 100 minutes of support per month. I think this is what Tom was alluding to before and had mentioned, HVAC companies that get busier at certain times of the year. So all the agreements are month to month. So you're not stuck in a particular contract or anything like that. So basically, we just want to make sure that folks know that if, you're missing calls, you're missing opportunities to possibly have your business, running smoother and have that professional touch. There are some potentially affordable options. And again, I don't know everyone's budget. Everyone's budget is different. So one of the questions here from Keith, thank you. How do your clients get you all their messages? So do you mean like how do we send messages? There's a different way if that's what I'm understanding. And Keith, please correct me if I'm wrong. But in terms of messages, let's say someone calls in to speak with Kayden. Kayden isn't available. Call routes to us. We take a message because it's not urgent. What we do immediately after that is we take down the information, and it's all customized. So it could be like name, company, best time to call back, email address, are they existing client? We can customize those questions, and then an email and a text can be sent out to whomever needs to see that. So if it was just Kayden we're sending it out to, great. If it's Kayden and someone else from his team that we would need to send it out to, we can customize it based on that call type. We also send a daily call log every morning or at the end of the day, outlining all the calls that came in, so that you can kind of have a double check and see like what's going on. Did I reach out to that person? Do I need to follow up with them? Plus, we also have a message portal where you can review all the messages that came in and their call times. I hope that answered your question.
Heath, I think you're trying to speak. I'm not sure if you are, but I just unmuted you if you want to talk.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can, yeah, he keeps.
Oh, cool. I was trying to answer the other girl that came on before you, but I was muted. And I was just talking and talking, but I was talking to myself because nobody could hear me. But
Oh, we can hear you now, sir.
okay, well, that's great. No, I was confused. If the person, your client, in this case, Kayden, is so busy that he can't take calls or text or whatever, I was wondering, how does he get them all? When does he get them and how does he get them? But you've kind of explained it's some kind of a portal that he can go to and collect them all in one shot if he wants to.
And he'll also get a text immediately after and an email showing the message if that's what he wants. Plus, we also send a summary by email again, either later in the day or the next morning, so he can check and be like, what happened yesterday, kind of thing. Because sometimes Caden's traveling, right, for like various events. So he may not have time during the day to check the messages, so he can have a look at them the following morning, but he'll still get a text what after the call happens, and he can look at it and be like, oh, okay, I have 5 minutes between these interviews, I can give this person a call back.
And how do you handle something that's an emergency?
So we have specific protocols. Something that we do for some of our clients is we outline questions that would identify if something is an emergency, or we just ask, is this urgent? Do you need to speak with Kayden right now? And if it is, then we have those protocols set up. So with Kayden, perhaps we would have a backup number, or we keep calling him on his personal number rather than his office number so that he knows that something important is going on, right? If he has a backup too. So what we do, for example, for HVAC companies, when there's like an emergency, right? And like maybe someone's furnace is broken and we need to figure this out right now, we may reach out to one person, they don't pick up, we try them again, then we'll reach out to their manager. Each client has their own specific rules on how we should handle that, and we can accommodate whatever that is.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It's important to get people their messages when they need them.
You were muted again. Not sure what happened there.
Did anyone else have any other questions?
Everyone should be able to unmute themselves now if they have questions. I think I fixed it.
Thanks, Kayden.
So if anybody could just test it to see if it works, that would be great.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Hey, Craig, did you have a question?
I did not. I was just trying to help you
Okay,
with
thank
your
you.
test, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
In a shared agent environment too, while we still have some time, you might be wondering, okay, how quick are people going to be picking up the phone, right? So across the board, 80% of our calls are picked up in 30 seconds or less. So that's like, 3-4 rings kind of thing, typically, which is going to be normal for anyone who's kind of available. Beyond that, like 31 seconds, 45 seconds, not usually too long. But we also have ways that, like we can have an upfront greeting just so they know that they're not calling nobody. It would have like a personalized message for your company, things like that, because that's important to have that kind of like additional thing so that folks know that they're going to be attended to, right?
I don't have any questions, but I am going to say that AnswerNet is really, really good. They're very informative, and they're very friendly as well. So y'all have a very good company.
Thanks, Craig. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we're here to help folks. I mean, we're a business too, but we try to be as accommodating to different situations and budgets and all those good things. So feel free to reach out to us. Brandon, it looks like Brandon has a question.
Good question. You should be able to unmute. Everyone should be able to unmute now. Craig tested it, so it works. They just have to click the unmute button. So you can say it in the chat or you can unmute. Doesn't matter.
Okay, Christine, can you hear me?
Yeah, I sure can, Brandon.
Hey, quick question for you. So I love the service. I know you and I've spoken before on a number of matters, and I remember your voice and just remember you got a great company and everything too. I was just waiting until I got to a point now where I probably need something like this. I think it's very informative, and Kayden has told me about this before, which is fantastic. I've never thought about just me kind of doing 99.9% of the work right now. Is just crazy with emails and sometimes we'll shut it down and somebody's trying to come on to get an interview, and all these national events that I go to with travel and stuff like that. What did you say the cost was, Christine, for like a yearly thing for the service, or what? I'm just curious about that.
So it's on a month-to-month basis. Kayden, are you able to scroll up? I think
Yeah,
one. Yeah. And what we've presented here, Brandon, is just some samples. We would prefer to give you some kind of a customized quote just to make sure we're understanding in terms of the full scope. If you need us to help with emails, or if just the phone is what you need the support on. But basically it's going to be working out to around $1.15 per minute to $1.10 per minute kind of thing.
Okay, y'all go by the minutes. Let's see what it. Okay.
Yeah, and like Tom was saying, it's in 6-second increments. So a call that's 30 seconds is going to be billed for 30 seconds, not a minute. And that
Okay,
same
I'm just
goes for
curious.
agent time with email. So for handling an email, it just comes down to when the agent receives the email, reads the email, and
Yeah.
sends it off kind of thing. And obviously that
I
may
got
be a
you.
bit longer, so we can work on templates and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a look at that and get back with you and stuff like that too. So yeah. So.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Nice seeing you again.
Any other questions? I'm not sure how those lines got there.
Is it on all of it?
I don't know. They're just all of a sudden there was lines that just came up, and I don't know how to get rid of that.
That's too funny.
It says Brandon made those lines. I don't know how to get rid of that. There we go. I fixed it. Okay. Was there anything else that we needed to touch on? Any other questions? And again, you guys are more than welcome to reach out to them directly. Again, their phone numbers are here. And if it helps, I'll put their information in the chat so you guys can see this. I guess a question that I guess I can mention. So if anyone's interested, do they go through both of you, or should they go directly to Tom or CCU, or how do you go about that? Because I know you're not sales anymore, Christine. You're an account executive.
Yeah, so definitely reach out to Tom. Feel free to CC me on anything as well. That's quite fine. But you're definitely welcome to reach out to Tom directly.
Okay.
Just kindly mention that you heard about us through Kayden kind of thing. That would be helpful for us.
Yep.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Well, in a few minutes, we got Kevin joining us, so we got that. But if there's no other, I don't see any other questions. I don't think there's any questions. I don't see any here. So.
I just made a quick correction to Tom's phone number in the chat.
Oh, did I? Oh, I did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you're all good. All good.
It's just been me typing. Thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
doing a lot of things all at the same time, Kayden.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat and make sure we're not missing anything, and make sure no one sent me a private message. Hi, Kevin. Welcome in. We're excited to have you talk in a minute.
Well, thanks everyone for your time. So grateful to have the opportunity to meet all you lovely folks. I've worked with Kayden for a long time, so it's just a pleasure to see all y'all. And it's nice to be around artists and creative people. It's a favorite part of the day.
Absolutely. And the ISSA folks in Atlanta, we are talking about potentially doing something similar to in Atlanta. So we'll see. Maybe you might see them in person. You never know. So. Oh, hold on. There's a mess. Oh, Mary Jackson, thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome, Mary. Thank you for your time.
Really nice to meet everybody. I appreciate you listening to us ramble on and on.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kayden. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Let's see. Dylan said very interesting. And that's it. Oh, and someone else just joined us too. Awesome. Guess we'll wait one more minute to see if there's any questions that come in.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a good turnout. So this has been exciting.
I know I can see some of you, but I can't see all of you. I can see all the ladies, which is interesting, besides Tom and Keith.
I guess because Tom is unmuted and Keith was recently unmuted. I always wonder how Zoom works for that.
Right. Elizabeth, Christine, Melissa, you guys don't have any questions? No? Okay. Just want to make sure. I can't see the rest of you, so.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to go off camera. Thanks so much for your time, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a great night.
All right, my friends. So we're gonna bring Kevin in here. I'm going to quickly just make sure everyone's muted, and then I'm gonna do this. Oh, was there? Fortunately, I could not find my camera, Rosa. Oh, that's okay. You're good. Okay. All right. So Kevin, are you here? And I'm gonna click on Kevin. I don't think you're here. Oh yeah, you are. I see you. Oh, can you unmute? Kevin, we can't hear you. Kevin? So why don't we do this? Well, oh, Chris, of course, Christina's not at her thing. I was gonna say let's reorganize it. I was gonna say Christina go and then Kevin, but she's not at. She left her computer. So while he's figuring out that, we're gonna talk. Oh no, hold on. Here she is. Here she is. Christina, are you there? You're muted.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. How is everyone doing? So my name is Christina Alexander. I'm half of Mission Road. The other half of Mission Road, Elliot, is over here doing behind the scenes music work. He does a lot of the admin stuff, and he's going to be talking to you guys on Saturday, so you'll get to see him in person. I'm coming on here. Kayden asked me to join because he wants me to talk to you all about the importance of social media. So first of all, you guys need to get excited, okay? You need to get excited. Your Facebook, first of all, you guys need to create a page on your Facebook for your music, because there are people that are going to be looking for you and looking for your music, and they don't have your website. So what do people do? They get on their phone and they just start typing. And they're like, okay, well, I can't see any of Christina Alexander stuff, so I can't find her, right? So if you create a band page for yourself, you will be able to have more people attracted to that. More people will be able to find you and find your content. So social media has become a powerhouse in the music industry for small businesses. Like Kayden, he does a lot of work on his social media, and he's becoming a little rock star. I'm so proud of you, Kayden. And you guys have to share. The Facebook algorithm is constantly changing, and they do that every 2 or 3 months, so that way people that are successful kind of start losing some of the views. So you could either try to Google search what's the new Facebook algorithm, or simply just stay consistent. Consistency is so important in anything that you're doing in life, whether you are doing music or you are painting photos or you are, running a small business selling t-shirts and keychains, right? You have to stay consistent. So I try to preach to everybody, post at least once a day. And the kind of posts that you can make are your music videos. That you got to get your music out there. People have to be able to hear your music videos. Share your YouTube links, your Spotify links, and make it so that people, if you have the ability to make it so that the video is embedded in the post, you're going to have a lot more views, because people generally don't like clicking on a YouTube link, right? And then going and watching the video on YouTube. People are lazy. But you still have to share those YouTube links and stuff like that, because those people that aren't so lazy will click on it and go see all of the rest of your content on YouTube or all of the rest of your music on Apple Music or Spotify. So you want everybody in the world to hear you. We are all artists. We're going for a big dream here. You know, all of us want to make it in some way, whether it's fame or just success or just to be known in your neighborhood. And the best way to reach out to all of our neighbors and everybody across the world is social media. Another kind of post that you can make is relate with everybody else, right? Make a relatable post. If you're at the grocery store and you're like walking around, take a picture of yourself and be like, who loves Lay's potato chips? Right? That's doing two things. You're relating to the people that are watching you, but also it becomes an interaction post. So people can be like, ooh, that's gross. Who eats Lay's potato chips anymore, right? I make my own at home. But people will start commenting. And the more comments that you get on a post, what's going to happen? The Facebook algorithm is going to shoot your post back up to the top of everybody's news feed so that if people didn't see your post 5 hours ago, they're going to see it now because somebody commented. So it's just that constant rotation. Get people to talk to you, get people to relate to you, get people interacted and interested in what you're doing. Another kind of post that you can make is I'm reading the paper and I'm drinking my cup of tea. What do you all enjoy reading in the morning? Some people are going to say Facebook. Duh. Some people are going to be like, I like watching TikTok videos. So keep people interested. People will absolutely fall in love with you and your personality, who you are and what you represent before they will ever fall in love with your music. They want to know who you are. What are you about? What kind of things do you like to do? Are you a nice person? Are you negative? Or are you positive? People are naturally attracted to positivity, unless they are a negative person and you just can't do anything. You know, people are just going to find something wrong with everybody and what they do. You have to just keep on looking forward, drown out all the noise and just keep on doing, like one of our songs is, just keep on doing. Make live videos. Once a week or once a month, set a goal for yourself. Okay. Every week, every month, I'm going to make a live video. I'm going to talk to my people. I'm going to talk to those that have questions about my new single, or I'm going to talk to people about something I'm writing. I'm going to just have a Q&A and, you know, my followers can ask me questions and I can respond to them on the spot. Because those live videos, when you get people to share that live video, more people are going to see your face and your name than they would have if you never did that live video. The Facebook algorithm will put you in the watch now section. Oh, that's what it's called, where they have all of the videos. Oh, Kayden, if you know what I'm talking about, write the name in the comments. Think like Facebook Watch.
I'm not sure. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name either.
Yeah, but Facebook will put you there and then everybody in the world can watch you. So that's a way to reach out to people that you're not friends with yet or that aren't following you yet. I know a lot of beauty influencers that get on there and they curl their hair and they do their makeup, right? And all of a sudden they've got 3,000 viewers in like the first 30 minutes. They would have never had that if they wouldn't have gone on Facebook Live.
It's Facebook Live. Yeah, Kevin just commented on that.
Yeah. So get out there, put yourself out there. And I know all of this is scary, but you know what? So is stepping on stage playing for 500 people that you've never met before. And nothing great happens unless you get out of your comfort zone. You cannot grow if you do not get out of your comfort zone. So I cannot preach enough. Kayden recently, he was such a sweetheart. He helped me connect my Facebook to Instagram. So through the Meta app, I'm now able to post on both at the same time. So that is a huge lifesaver. I'm sure Kayden would help all of you connect all of your social medias to each other. So you only have to do one post instead of 5 back to back to back. But I hear that, you know, TikTok is going to be around for a little longer. Get on TikTok. TikTok, I've heard that record labels, are watching people's TikToks and their Instagrams. Make videos, videos, videos. Make videos of yourself singing. There are some young people out there that are sitting in front of their phone, playing guitar and singing acoustic, and they have 1 million followers from just doing that. That looks really great to a record label. That looks really great to new people that are finding their page and they're like, wow, they have a lot of followers. Let me follow them too to see what all of this is about. One thing more, Christina. What does that say?
Okay, hold on. There's you got a bunch of them, Christina. Okay, I got it. Don't worry. Christine, you just turned your camera off. I got the comments. Just come back and keep talking, but I got the comments. Christine said you've given me a lot of ideas in my head. She's doing all of her gigs on Facebook Live, and she's doing one tomorrow, so tune in. You're muted, Elliot. Christina. I don't know why I said Elliot. Okay, you're good. So re-say what you're gonna say.
So great. I make sure you put it on your Facebook, love, so I can find who I want to watch.
And then Keith Bradford said, one more thing, Christina, use the power of AI to promote yourself.
Use the power of AI. So I am so illiterate in AI that I need to get with the times. But that's a great idea. Keith Bradford has been doing some amazing work with AI. You guys should talk to him or Kayden, because I'm telling you, if you guys are following me, you've seen some of his work. And Keith, great job. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for me and Elliot and our band. We greatly appreciate it.
And then Alice said there's an app called Metricool. If I said that wrong, Alice, let me know. You can post on many at the same time. You can do Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube thread all at the same time, and it's for free. I didn't know that. Oh wait, I
didn't know that either.
I think you told me about that last time we spoke. Now that I think about it. And then Linda said she does a weekly live stream since March 2020, 5 years.
Awesome. Great job.
At first, Facebook let many people see it real time. As the pandemic progressed, they made it harder to find people to find you. Is what Linda.
That's another thing. If you guys are doing your Facebook Lives and you're not on your business page, please make sure that you have your audience set to public. Because if you only have it set to friends, you're not going to get any new followers or any new eyeballs on you and your music. X is another great one, because there are a lot of singer-songwriters out there. There are people that want to collab. I started using hashtags years ago, and then I kind of got lazy. Okay, it happens. But you just gotta stay consistent. Google what hashtags is good for your music. Are you country music? Are you pop music? And just start hashtagging like original music, country music, Nancy Sinatra, new album, new single release, hashtags of the names of your songs, because if people are doing searches based on just hashtags, you will appear in that search. And if you are, Elliot just brought up a great point that I hadn't gotten to yet, is do not overpost. Because if you start overposting on Facebook, Facebook's gonna be like, I'm gonna hide you from everybody now. So if you post once or twice a day, that's like a nice little safety zone right there. But make sure you're posting daily, because I'm gonna call out the band Wanted just for a second. You guys do a fantastic job with your Facebook. If you are not following the band Wanted, go follow them and see what kind of posts they have. They have posts about their music. They have, posts about where they're playing. That's very important. You have a gig, make a flyer, put it up on Facebook. They have posts about, just like laughing at each other and celebrating their relationship and the things that they're doing. And this is what attracted me to their page, was just seeing how cute the both of them are and what they're up to next. So, and yes, monetize your live feeds, but you have to get to a certain level before you can monetize. Isn't that right, Candy? Or did
I
Facebook
think
change
that's
that?
right. I think you have to have a certain amount of followers.
Yeah.
And then Linda said she's doing a fundraiser right now through Music Cares to help people with the LA fires.
Awesome.
EJ said that he needs to drop out. Great to see you all, and he loved your music, Christina.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And then Eric Erickson said, please make your EPK easy to find on your socials and with meta tag downloadable songs. And let's see.
Yes.
Craig said, don't forget to monetize your live feeds.
Yeah, you have to have a certain amount of followers and then you can make money off of it. Hey, every penny counts to an artist, right, Candy?
That's right. Well, she just literally commented that.
Heck yeah. So does anybody have any questions before I continue? Merchandise is very important. Yes, I'm working on getting some of that made now. So keep in mind, you guys, that your Facebook page is like a storefront. Who are you and what are you about? What do you have for sale, right? Your music, your performance, your merch. That is your storefront. If you walk in a Walmart, you can look around and see everything that they have. But if Walmart had nothing in there, nobody could buy anything, right? So think of your music as a business and what are you selling? Because if you want to get out there and you want people to know who you are, you have to market the crap out of yourself. Market, market, market. Because if you are if you're working for the long road, you got to keep going. That door shuts in your face, that door's not meant for you to open. You go bang on that door again, let me in, let me in. That really might not be the door that you should be in, and you might find yourself in a lot of trouble. So when you get those no's and those doors shut, keep on going, keep on pushing forward, because the next door that opens might be your golden ticket. Invest in yourself, invest in your business.
And for anyone that wants to see, Candy just actually took a screenshot of her professional dashboard and what her numbers look like. Christina, your phone almost fell.
It did fall. Slam.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want examples, Candy just put it in the chat.
At the end of the evening, I'm going to go all through those comments and see what everybody had to say. Because while I'm looking at the screen, I get this tiny little like one-liner at the bottom and I can't read it all.
Right. That's with the computer. I have like 3 tabs open reading everything. That's why I'm just going to read everything.
And make sure that you guys are tagging people too. If you are taking photos with other musicians, right? Let's say like Melissa, her and I were together at ISSA in the whatever that room name was called, right? She did a great job. She posted it up on her Facebook and she's like, I got to meet Christina and Elliot of Mission Road. She tagged us and our band. So when her friends are looking at these photos, we all get nosy, right? We're all gonna be like, who is this Christina? And then you click on her page, right? And then you start seeing my stuff. That is how you can help your artists in our network. Let's help each other. We're all in this together. Yes, collaboration. Absolutely.
Craig said, always remember you are on the low end of the totem pole. Your music and your merchandise makes you who you are.
Well, yeah, but so does your personality.
That is true.
And we are all small fish in a huge ocean.
Absolutely.
Right? We are all competing with the sharks and the big whales and all of that. So we have to find our own way. Don't allow yourself to get burned out, because if you love music enough, you're not going to get burned out. This should be fun for you. All of the behind the scenes work that we do, right? Nobody ever talks about like how many hours you stay on the computer and you're answering emails and you are, you know, booking interviews and you're responding to people and you're setting up Spotify, you know, playlists and stuff like that, how many hours a day it takes. But when you get that gig and you're on that stage and you're having fun, that's what it's all about.
That's right. And there's so many people out there willing to help you. Like, we got one more. Kevin is going to talk to us about the radio, but Christina, and we're all here to help, especially with Christine.West and Tom. They gave us some ideas, and you guys should definitely reach out to them. They got very affordable pricing, and they do amazing work. So reach out. We're all here to help you.
Reach out to Paul Mash. We had
And Paul Mash, yeah.
Paul was our very first interview we ever had. He does a great job. He is so sweet. He like helps you keep the conversation going. Reach out to him, get an interview. I'm sure he'll have all of you on there.
Absolutely.
And if you're in the area, go get an interview through Keith. But talk to Kayden. Kayden will get you all set up. Kayden's like the go-to guy.
I'm always the go-to guy for everything. So.
Yeah, I'll call you up. Kayden, how do I do this?
You sure will. So anyways, Christina, was there anything else? I knew that we were going to have Kevin talk at 8:30, but if you don't have anything else, then we can have Kevin go ahead and start.
Okay, one more thing I just want to say.
Okay.
Everybody keep your head up, all right? Don't get discouraged. Just keep pushing. Just keep trying. It's like riding a bicycle. You're going to fall off 57 times before that one time that you ride that bicycle and you don't rip all of the skin up off your knees. Just keep going, keep moving forward. I love you guys. Kayden, thank you so much for having me on here. And you guys feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Christina. Kevin, can you try to go ahead and unmute now? Kevin? Let me try this. I unmuted you. I just hit ask to unmute. Try it now. We still can't hear you. You're on. I know you. I see you're unmuted now, but we can't hear you.
Well, you need to mute me.
Well, I'm gonna do that now. Okay, Kevin, let's try this again. Can you hear us? Do you have your audio connected, Kevin? Let me try putting you out and then putting you back in. Let's see if that works. Oh, Beth just joined. Kevin, can you try that again? Oh, try that again. We still can't hear you. Kevin, do you want to try calling in? Try that. I'm gonna give you a number and then put in the meeting ID and then try that. Hold on, I gotta get the number. Okay, yeah, we're gonna try to have him call in and see if that helps. While he's doing that, I'm gonna go back and talk about what I have to offer. I'm gonna go all the way back to here. Okay, so I'm gonna just quickly run over some of the packaging options that I have under KJG Media and Promotions. We now have 3 levels, which a lot of you have already taken advantage of. We have the starter level, and then we have the moderate level, and then we have the all access level. So the starter level includes radio distribution for 2 songs for $375. One thing that I'm going to try to change this time is I'm going to do reports at the end of the month because, to be quite honest, trying to get you all weekly reports was exhausting. It can be done, but we're going to add an additional $20 on that. Okay, I think he's going to try to come in here. Okay, hold on. Okay, here he is. So that's the package one, but now that he's here, we'll just go back and let him do his thing. Okay. Kevin, can you hear us? Oh, he's muted. Hold on. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hey, awesome.
Okay, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, so it's glad to be here, and it's good to talk to everybody. So radio is kind of crazy. I started in radio back in 1999, and it's still at that time we were still using cart machines and reel-to-reel machines and everything, and radio has changed a whole lot, even just since then. So, like with music, our radio teacher says, you know, it's kind of like a wad of chewing gum. And we're sitting there thinking, okay, where's this analogy going? And he's like, you take a piece of chewing gum, you throw it on the wall, and you see how long it sticks. Because if it stays up there for a while, you know, it's going to stay there for probably maybe 5 years, 10 years, or how long. And if it comes off really quick, well, there it goes. And he says it's kind of like a one-hit wonder, because if it falls off that wall, you know, you may hear that song again in a commercial for fast food or laundry detergent or toilet paper or something like that, you know. And I go back to Rupert Holmes with a Pina Colada song. You know, we've heard that song in a lot of commercials, a lot of movies, Guardians of the Galaxy, we've heard it in that, you know. And it's kind of interesting how music has, you know, how it's come forward. You know, in the mid-'90s and late '90s, it was hip-hop that was, you know, the top music at the time. You know, everybody from LL Cool J, Snoop Dogg, and really now the pendulum, I mean, it keeps on bouncing back and forth. But as of late, if you look at the Billboard charts, country music has had some top hits inside the top 5. So it seems like the pendulum may be swinging a little bit more to the countryside, at least a little bit. You see people like Morgan Wallen, you see Kane Brown inside the top 5. And so maybe it's country music that's making a little bit more of a popularity jump at this point in time. But also in the top 5, you have Lady Gaga, who's been in music for a while now. She's become a staple. And, you know, you see maybe a couple other pop artists inside the top 5, but it's great seeing the country artists make it in that direction too. But the whole analogy that my radio teacher gave me about the whole chewing gum thing is very much accurate. You know, there's a lot of songs that have stood the test of time, you know, right now. Like with Kane Brown, I'll use a little bit of an example. He reminds me a whole lot of Tim McGraw. He's starting to stay there a little bit longer. People love his music, and I think he'll be around for a while, you know. And music today, I mean, if you look at your playlist, you look at my playlist, I got songs from 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, even a couple of big band songs in there. So everybody has their favorite song from a certain year, certain genre, you know. So music today, it's all over the place, you know. But I tell people, like the music that you like, you know, play the music that you play. You know, don't go in there, and I'll use this as an example. Garth Brooks, when he became Chris Gaines and went more pop rock kind of, you know, over in that, it wasn't him. You know, he was country. That's what we knew him for, was country music. you know, if you want to do something, do a certain music genre, go for it. You know, yes, there's crossover hits. We see it all the time, but you have to be true to yourself and true to the music that you love, because that gives you so much in your heart. You know that you're doing the right thing and you're playing the right music. You know, we see that a lot. And we see some artists that will, you know, go away for a little while. Then they'll come back and they'll try to do something else, but then they'll drift back to whatever music that they started with. But you just have to be true to yourself in this day and time. Like I said, the music trends, I mean, I was looking at the Billboard chart just a few minutes ago before coming on. The crazy thing is you'll even see songs that will fit the time period that we're in. Go back to 9/11 when you had Alan Jackson's "Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning." It was up in the top of the Billboard charts for a while. The craziest song I've seen so far was Roseanne Barr's rap song recently that hit the top of the charts. But it was only up there for like a week, you know, but it was still up there. But it also fits with what was going on at the time. But right now, I mean, you got people like Mario, Snoop Dogg, Morgan Wallen, Nelly with Tim McGraw. So you have a kind of a variety of music right now. But I would tell the artists, you know, do what you love to do. I've had people say, well, why can't you hear my music on regular radio stations? And a lot of times, big radio stations, the conglomerates, what they'll do is they'll get a list of songs from these industries in, say, Los Angeles, Nashville, New York, or down in Florida, and they'll get this music from these music labels, and that's what they'll play. At least that's what happened whenever I was working in a top 40 station. We got this list of songs on a download, and we would play those songs. And I had artists asking me all the time, well, why can't I get my music played on this station? Unfortunately, the bigger radio stations will only play the songs that they're sent, you know, and that's sad. Because I can remember back in the day, there was times when local musicians would come in with their CD or cassette tape. I'll even go back to cassette tape. And we would play it on the air. And people love that. You know, and it's totally switched to big conglomerates to the point of, you know, you have to get with a good record label and you hope and pray to God that they play your music or send your music to radio stations.
Absolutely.
And,
Hey, Kevin, we got a question. Keith says, what about the stations that only play a total of 40 songs and not 41, but 40 records only?
Yeah, and that's another one that they look at the Billboard charts and they will go solely what the Billboard plays. I was with a top 40 station, and yeah, it was like, well, what about the 41st song or the 45th song? And we just solely had to keep track of the Billboard chart and look at the movement. And this was back, I was working with a top 40 station in about 2009, 2010. So if we didn't keep track of that Billboard chart every day, you know, our boss would be like, well, did you look at the Billboard chart today? Yeah. You know, just to make sure that we were playing the songs that were popular at that time. You know, Billboard's made a good stride lately where they're constantly updating the Billboard Hot 100 chart pretty much every hour. So, you know, and I just looked at just a few minutes ago, and now Mario's #1 at the charts with Let Me Love You. So it's so fast and fast-paced of how they keep track of the songs. So, yeah, and unfortunately, the 41st song has to wait until the 40th or 38th song comes falling down. You know, and that's just the way the music is right now. But yeah, the radio industry has changed too. Like I said, I started out with cart machines and 8-tracks and reel-to-reel machines. And in fact, the reel-to-reel machine behind me started unwinding in the floor my first day on the radio. And I'm sitting there just bebopping along, enjoying the music, and then somebody knocks on the window and points behind me, and there's the reel in the floor, going in the floor. So, and the radio's changed so much too. We used to play CD jukebox, and we had CDs in there, and it would randomly choose a song off those CDs. So, but yeah, I mean, the industry's changed. And to some extent, I love the mom and pop radio stations because as long as they're around, local artists can still play their music or have their music played on local stations. When it gets to the conglomerate stations, they'll just say, well, you have to go through the labels. And sadly, it's become more and more like that because a lot of mom and pop stations have either been bought up by the conglomerates or they just went out of business altogether. Owning a radio station can cost a lot of money. The online radio station, thank God, is not too expensive, but it's a lot of fun, you know, and I play your show, Kayden, and I have some locals as well that come on and with their music, and they love having their songs put out there. So, and I saw the question, so what is artists supposed to do? If you can find local radio stations or like Kayden's show that will play up-and-coming artists, do that. Send your music to them. Do interviews with them. That's the only way you're going to get out there is if you do the interviews and you find these small mom-and-pop stations because they do want to keep the local flavor. They want to keep artists coming up through there. So when you get to the top of the charts, that little small mom-and-pop radio station can say, you know what, we played their song, and now it's #1 on the charts. I took a shot on Frankie Ballard. Frankie Ballard was looking for a place to play, and I had him for a local event. Frankie Ballard had a #1 song within 6 months with a song called Hell of a Life. And we was driving through Nashville, Tennessee, coming back home to Alabama, and on the radio I hear, here's Frankie Ballard with the #1 song, Hell of a Life. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. You know, I gave him his shot at a local event, you know, and that was pretty cool, you know. And somebody said call college stations. Yeah, college radio stations will also play local artists or local bands too. You know, I started out in college radio. So, and we played local bands and we went to local clubs and did interviews and stuff as well. So even the college radio stations is a good idea. But if anybody has any questions for me, feel free to answer.
I just released the unmute, so if anyone wants to physically talk to Kevin, you should be able to unmute your microphone now.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I have a quick question. I have been told by many in the industry that Play MPE is something good for us artists. What's your take on that?
I think it helps. It really does help. The more that you get out there, the better it will be. The more that people will know your name. It's almost like going for job interviews. You know, the more resumes you have out there, the more that they're going to know who you are. And it's just the more that you see your face, the more they hear your voice, the more that they will recognize you. And I tell people it's almost like a job interview. Every time somebody goes and performs somewhere, it's almost like a job interview because you're playing for them in hopes that they'll invite you back to play again another event. You know, and I've done events. I've organized events for 20-something years as well. And I have gave a lot of local bands and local artists time up on stage because they sounded great. And a lot of times they'll get booked by somebody else because they were at the event I put together. And so they'll go to that next event or whatever. That's another thing I tell artists. If you can play in your state somewhere at events, it don't matter if it's a county fair, state fair, I don't know, homecoming event at a football game or something. You're getting your name out there, your band out there, and you're promoting yourself. And that's a big, big thing. You know, the more that you're able to play, more places you're able to play at, there's more that you can add to your resume as far as, hey, I played here. Hey, I played at this place, and it looks better for you in the long run. I've got a band that actually, they performed, I forgot how many times for me, and they actually were invited by a bigger country name to come on the cruise with them and perform on a cruise. And then they asked them to come on the tour with them. And it's because they were out there playing in all these different places. And apparently the agent for the country act saw them at my event and said, hey, we want them to come on the cruise with us. And the artist was Kid Rock. And the trio was Sweet Tea Trio. And their agent was actually at my hometown event, saw them and booked them on the cruise. So,
Wow.
you know, the more you're out there, I think that will help you in the long run.
Okay. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem. I hope it helps.
Very much so. Yes. Thank you.
And Candy had a question. Are they located here in Alabama, Kevin?
Yes. I mean, I am. There are mom and pop stations located here in Alabama that I know of that will play local or will play music. So, and I could probably figure out in other states too, because I've worked in the Midwest and I've worked here in the South a lot. So there are a lot of mom and pop stations out there that I think would give you the time of day and possibly play. And there are some local stations that have like a local segment, you know. I knew of a guy that had a gospel station, and he invited gospel groups in there to sing, you know, on certain days of the week, you know. It may have been on a Friday. He'd bring them in a Friday morning, and then they would perform. But there are there are mom and pop stations out there. But my radio advisor told me, he said, you got to make me a promise. He says, you got to promise me you will never work for a conglomerate radio station. You need to work for mom and pop stations as long as you're in this industry. I kept my word. I have never worked for a big conglomerate. I have always worked for a mom and pop radio station. And I saw what he saw. So that helped me a lot in the long run.
We have a question that was sent to me privately.
Okay.
Do you think artists like Jelly Roll with a genre be damn attitude will help in the long run by cracking, for example, the country music genre charts with songs that are definitely not traditional country?
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting question. You know, and I hear people say, well, you know, Morgan Wallen and Jelly Roll and all these are not country music acts. Well, when Elvis started playing, people says, well, he wasn't country either. Everybody was like, oh, no, that's not country music. That's not Hank Williams. You know, Elvis was rockabilly. It was a mixture of rock and country. And, you know, now you fast forward, even in the 90s, my parents did not like Keith Urban. They didn't like, you know, artists like that or Jason Aldean, because they're like, that's not country music. Well, and I told them, I said, well, back in y'all's day, Elvis wasn't country either. It was rockabilly. So like with Jelly Roll, it's almost not rock. It's more along the line of pop country, you know, and that's why it was called pop country. You know, it may not fit somebody's taste as country music, but it may be somebody else's. Country music has changed. We went from Conway Twitty, Hank Williams, Conway Twitty, Group Alabama. I mean, the Group Alabama was kind of a rock country group at one point, people thought, you know, they weren't strictly country. So now with Jelly Roll, does he have good stage presence? Oh, yes. I've been to one of his concerts. He did a great job. Got to see him pretty well up close. But he's got an incredible story, too, almost like a redemption story. And I think that's one reason that's meshing well with country. If you've never heard his story, then, I mean, you really feel it when he sings a song. But, I mean, it's whatever your taste is in country music. You know, my dad is more along the lines of Kiss an Angel, Good Morning, and all those songs, and that's him. I'm more Alabama, Keith Urban, Tim McGraw, stuff like that. That's me. So we all have different tastes, but I think it suits him well, and I think Jelly Roll will actually stay up there for a while. Almost Kenny Rogers like. I think he'll be around for a while. Any other questions y'all might have, I'm happy to answer.
Is there anything else? I'm checking here. Doesn't look it. I think that's
been some really good
Hold
questions.
on. Melissa just said, what's the best stations for Christian and country?
Ooh. In a certain area like Alabama? Or is there a certain...
Wasn't specified. And then Candy said, how do we get on your show, Kevin, or your station?
Well, you can email me. You can email the radio station. It's rewindradiolllc@gmail.com. If you email me the music and stuff and everything, I'd be happy to play it. But it's rewindradiolllc@gmail.com. The one thing about the country, the Christian and country music and stuff, there are radio stations here in Alabama that will play Christian gospel music on Sunday mornings, and then they'll switch to country music at noon. In fact, I used to work for 2 radio stations that did that because the gospel music, Christian music went pretty good with the country music. So that's what they did. They did from 7 a.m. to noon, and it was nothing but Southern gospel and Christian music. And then they flipped the switch, and it was country all the rest of the day and the night.
I just put the email in the chat. Melissa said yes for any other area.
Yeah, there are, and if she would email me, I can give her a list of some of the stations here in Alabama that would play the Christian and the country music.
Awesome. And then Alice said, what's the best for pop rock?
Pop rock. Wow. Sadly, there's a lot of stations in this area that has gone conglomerate as far as the pop rock goes. There are a couple of stations I do know of that's around Birmingham and South, and that's the same thing. If they'll email me, I'll see if I can get them a list of the mom and pop stations that do pop rock as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Joe said, do you think that age plays a part in what type of country music is classified as?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's kind of sad, but we were always told in our classes when I was in college, our radio teacher says, look, you're going to look at me weird, but the songs in 20 years are almost going to be classical. They're going to be called classics. And I'm like, wait a minute, rewind that. Did you just say that? And he goes, yeah. He said, so the songs back in 1999, he says, fast forward to 20 years, and they're going to be on the edge of being called a classic hit. And I was like, no, there's no way. He goes, yeah. He said, think about it. Songs from, say, 1970s back is now considered oldies. And then songs from 1980, 1990 are now considered classic hits. And it makes your head kind of spin because you're sitting there thinking, that can't be happening. Well, we're now 2025, so songs from 2005 are now on the verge of being called classic hits. And songs from 1995 are definitely called classic hits now. The way everything moves so fast, age does play a part in the music and everything. I mean, but you have so many people. I've ran into a young man the other day that said, I love Hank Williams Jr. And he's probably 18 years old. And he goes, I love Hank Williams and Merle Haggard. And I'm sitting there like, really? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, who raised you to listen to that? He goes, well, I started listening to it myself. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So there's hope for the younger generation because they're listening to these older artists. So, and some of them's inspiring them. I saw a 16-year-old kid buy a Hank Williams Jr. album. And I'm like, wow, okay, that works, you know. So they're keeping some originality to it, and that really does help, especially as we get on and on in years. You know, they're not forgetting the legends. They're not forgetting the people who originated the music. So, you know, I think it is kind of make your hair turn even grayer than it is when they say on the radio, well, you're listening to an oldie now from 1977. It's like, oh, you know, I was born in 79. So, I mean, that's not much older than me. But, you know, it does, age does play a factor in some of, in a lot of the music that's on today and popularity.
Absolutely. For sure.
But,
Kevin, was there anything else?
Well, I was just going to say, for all the artists out there, keep playing your music. You know, don't give up on it. I had a buddy of mine that he and I would actually sit there at nights on Friday nights when nothing was going on and write songs. You know, we just sit there and have fun and write songs and everything. And he wanted to be in a band. He wanted to come up with his own reggae band. And this is kind of crazy in Alabama to come up with a reggae band. And it's a white guy with red hair coming up with a reggae band. But then again, he was a big UB40 fan. So there's that whole deal where he loved UB40. And he created his own reggae band called Sky Glow. And all those songs that we wrote on Friday nights, he put music to it. And he's happy as can be that he wrote all that. And he made those songs. And he actually is listed on the back of UB40's Greatest Hits album because they chose 2 or 3 of the biggest fans and asked them to do the B-side, you know, of the hits that they loved. So he actually is living his dream. So he was able to be on a UB40 album. But, you know, stick with your music, what you love to do, you know, what music that speaks to your heart that you love to perform, keep with it, you know. And thank God there's still mom and pop radio stations out there. And, you know, go with them as far as, you know, playing your music as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin, so much. Oh, go ahead.
I appreciate the opportunity, Kayden, and thank y'all for the questions. And if I can be of help, just let us know. And like I said, you know, email me the questions you have about radio stations, but also the music as well. You know, we'll be happy to play it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kevin, so much. I guess we saved the best for last. Thank you all so much for staying and listening. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kevin. That was amazing. Very much appreciated. So for those you all pretty much know me, so I'm not even going to really go into it, but you guys know that I'm now a junior at Worcester State University in Worcester, Massachusetts. I am going to be graduating in about a year, which I am so excited about. I am the CEO of KJG Media and Promotions, LLC. Provide radio distribution, interview bookings, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is tours. I've been working with Mission Road, Pepper Brooks, Gabe Shillman, and a bunch of you to put together tours. And this is my pitch to you. After all of your guys' conversations and what I'm hearing, it sounds like we want to do an East Coast thing. So basically my plan, and I've been reaching out to these people, and we're going to probably have Mission Road, Gabe Shillman, and Pepper Brooks be our 3. And then what we're going to do from there is we're going to take them and I think we should start in the middle in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Based off of what was told to me and where a lot of the gigs were already happening and the timing, it made sense to start in Pennsylvania. And then what we'd like to do is work our way all the way down to Hollywood, Florida. I'm currently working with a guy named Brian. He has connections to multiple venues, including I forget what it is. I think it's a Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, Florida. I'm working very closely with Ryan Martin to get that going. One of the things that we are looking at to do is do a Nashville, Atlanta tour. Basically, it will be all throughout August. What I really want to do is get a lot of artists together and make it worth your while. That is, I don't know if many of you have been paying attention to what Tammany has been posting. And if you're not an ISSA member, please, I literally beg you, go. I can help you. Please become an ISSA member, because Tammany, Todd, Angela, the whole group of people that are in it is just so amazing, and they're so supportive. And Tammany, if you're watching, thank you so much for everything you do. We all love you so much. So what I want to do is I want to build a whole month of August doing gigs all around the Nashville and the Atlanta area, working our way up towards the big projects and the big things that we're going to be doing at ISSA. I'm working very closely with Todd and the whole team to make this year's award show the best award show it can be. Better than it already is, because it's one of the best already out there. But we are working extremely hard to make sure that we are going to provide as much to you. And the reason why, you might be wondering why I thought of the panel. Well, what I want to do is, maybe if it's not every month, it might be every other month. I haven't quite decided, depending on how today's and Saturday's calls go. I would like to talk about something and bring someone on leading us up to Atlanta. And basically what we're doing right now, I have a connection with BMI, and I've successfully spoken to that person at BMI, and we are in the works of trying to see if we can get a representative from the BMI Atlanta office to come to ISSA in Atlanta and speak in person with us there. We're looking to put together things. Again, it is all in the planning phase, so please stay patient with all of us as we are getting ready to rock and roll with this. But we're so excited. We got a chat here. How will everyone get paid? Great question. Basically, I want to go for the best paid gigs as absolutely possible. Now, I've ran into a lot of challenges with that, but I don't give up. I'm working tirelessly on reaching out to venues and seeing what we can do to build this together. Basically, like I said, I have 3 people and Bailey's visa, yes. Bailey's visa is another topic for another time. But anyway, back to your question, Candy. How will everyone get paid? We're gonna figure that out. My plan is that I want to do main acts and then supporting acts. So what I want to do is, once we get the payment structures, what I need all of you to do that will help me plan is share with me privately how you currently get, what you currently charge at gigs. Like, what is your budget? You don't have to share it publicly. You're more than welcome to share it in the chat, but you're more than welcome to also do that there as well. Was there another question? Oh no, Randy just joined us. Okay, awesome. So basically what I want to end with, the reason why I put my lovely hometown is because I'm currently working with the town of Winchendon with their music, the festival that they do, the Fall Fest that they do every single year, and they have music that normally runs, and I'm usually there doing the DJ. You guys might have seen my posts in further October and other things that I've done around that October time. So we want to literally, I really, really want to push really hard. And my goal is to have hopefully something structured in April. I got a question. Or no, I guess there wasn't a question. Okay. Was there any questions about the tour? I'm just going to check and make sure I didn't get anything privately. It doesn't look like it. Still doing the video.
Sorry.
Hey, go ahead.
I know I've been muted the whole time. Just been noisy here, and also just yeah. For the tour from Nashville to Atlanta, do you know how many how many gigs are you trying to put together, like between it all?
That's between Nashville and Atlanta, or the whole thing? Like
Yeah,
the whole tour.
the whole tour. Like, do you have an idea of the areas in Nashville? Because there's a lot of different areas between Nashville and Atlanta. So
Mhm.
I just wonder.
We're looking to we're looking to hit the ones. I'm looking to probably do maybe downtown Nashville. Maybe we can get you guys down there. I'm looking, maybe we could even look into like Memphis, Hendersonville, Gallatin, all the surrounding areas. I'm very open and looking in all of those areas, all around Nashville and all around Atlanta.
My suggest since I'm actually down here, I don't know how many of people in this whole thing are down in here in Tennessee, but Memphis is not a good area no more. So I probably would not be doing anything there because there's a lot of actual bad situations down there over there.
Okay.
And Nashville, Hendersonville is Nashville pretty much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subsidies in Nashville.
Absolutely. Do you have any recommendations of where you would like to play, Richie? That
Murfreesboro is actually growing a lot with music venues, so that would be a good area to do some gigs, especially some of them are starting to pay.
Okay.
Even Chattanooga is good with that now too.
Mhm.
And that's all actually in line with heading towards Atlanta as well, other than just Nashville, Murfreesboro, Chattanooga. If you actually have to drive through Chattanooga just to get past the border to get to Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are down there, so you know better than I am. So I appreciate your input and thanking you from the bottom of my heart for that.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Great. There's some questions here. Will you use a band provided, or can we use performance tracks? It's going to be up to the venue. I've spoken to a lot of venues that prefer a band, and I've talked to some that use both. So at the end of the day, that's something that I'm cool with either one. It's going to be solely up to the venue. I hope that answers your question, Melissa. Okay. Here in the Boston area, the major venues play a percentage of ticket sales. Yep. Ticket sales. That's something that I wanted to I was going to get into as well. Definitely, I would like to see who would be interested in doing ticket sales because that is where a lot of these venues are going. Tickets at the door, that kind of stuff. Let's see. Elizabeth said, are you taking solo performers to open for bands in your Nashville tour? Yes, I am. We are open to that. Mary Anderson, do you want to comment on your plans in New York? Can you unmute for a second?
Hey, y'all. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Great. I'm Dr. Mary Anderson with Healing Vocals, and I work a lot with Kayden. We're all one big family and team. So the Legacy in New York, I can book that for us. And I'm going to say the Tap Room and Headliners in Kentucky. I've got that one too.
Okay. Tell us more about that day festival you were putting together.
For the AMAs, the Americana Music Association, I've got to see the dates on that. I think it's in June. I've just got to look and see. But it's a whole day we'll put together, and pretty much we can actually just bring the whole tour there. So Americana Fest, it's during Americana Fest. We get a day. They've asked me that since last year. Would I do it? Would I do it? And I said, yeah, finally, yes, this year. So, Kayden, I'll be getting back in touch. But yeah, we can just, I got to figure out the exact date and time and everything, and get it over to them. And then that way we can just bring the tour there and book extra acts or something like that. So
awesome. Okay. Randy said colleges have great venues and maybe open to small festivals, especially tied to. Yeah, that's a good idea. And going back, Jackson had to pop off, but that's something that I think we could definitely do, especially for the autism event. Melissa said, are they two different tours, one for the Nashville and Atlanta and one solely for the Eastern? Yes and no. Right now we want to do. You're more than welcome to do that tour, but we're putting it into big one. But yeah, I guess there kind of are two different tours because there's going to be one that we're solely focused on Nashville and Atlanta because of people that are involved in ISSA, and there's a lot of you that are. So I definitely think that that's great. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Let's see. Great on the solo openers for Nashville. Yes, I agree, Elizabeth. Um, the challenge with ticket sales is pulling in audience. Yes, that is a huge challenge that we've ran into. And if anybody has any ideas, I know like we could do a lot of social media marketing back to what Christina was saying and her social media input. That's another way to build an audience is ahead of time, maybe like a couple months before the gig. Like I'm going to use an example, and Christina, if you're still here, you can comment on this, but they have a gig that is a ticket sales in Pennsylvania. And that's kind of why want to start there is because most of my artists are already going to be in that area. Anyway, she's going to make a post about it soon. She's going to be like, hey, we're going to be in Pennsylvania, and also another thing to look at your statistics, and that will also help you build your own individual tours because your fan base is already there, even though you realize with your Spotify and all that kind of stuff, you realize you go back and look and you're like, okay, so I have fans in these areas. Use those marketing tools to be able to do that. I don't have any dates yet in the books. It's still being constructed. So as soon as I know, we'll definitely get you. Let's see. House concerts are a great way to build relationships. Yes. I have thought about that. I've thought about going down the house concerts route. That is a great idea. I like that, Mary. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in here, Kayden,
Yeah, go ahead, Mary.
just for a minute. Okay. So I want you guys all to picture some concert like tours that you've seen pop up last year, this year. You see the towns, but you don't really see dates. So picture like Alexandra Kay saying her tour is such and such, even Jelly Roll, even Morgan. You notice their posts. I want everybody to go back tonight and look at those posts from earlier in the tour season. And you're going to see just cities pop up. And there's a link for tickets now, everything. And then later on, they start putting the date. So if you guys are wondering how to start advertising at least 3, 4, 6 months before a tour happens, we should be advertising something general like that. And then you'll notice, and you guys, I want everybody to do this, go back and look at the evolution of the tours as they happen over the year for somebody famous, and you'll see venue dates change, you'll see venue names change, but one thing is consistent. It's on the same template, okay? And it pretty much looks the same. They just update them as they go, so they continuously advertise. They share it out on social media. They put it on, I'm trying to think of radio stations. They pair it with radio stations that are in those towns. But if you're wondering how we get to advertising now, that is exactly how they do it. And they update the dates and the times and the shows and everything. So it's constantly put out there. Does that make sense, y'all? Does everybody understand kind of what I'm saying?
It does with me, yes. Kevin said, one thing to remember about down south here on August Friday night, high school football kicks off the second to last Friday of the month. Trust me, as a concert event organizer, it can be a nightmare. Yeah, everyone's saying that they understand, Mary.
Thumbs up.
Okay,
but
perfect.
Yes, that's exactly how I would do it. That's how the big boys do it. So if we want to get to our audience, I always say follow the leader in that and kind of do what they do. That's just my advice.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Mary. Any other questions regarding the tour? Also, a lot of local radio stations cover the football games. We cover local T, so that can be a headache sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, you're all welcome to unmute and ask questions too. You guys should all be able to do that. Hi, Debbie. I just saw you joined us. Okay. Oh, Alice. How long a set would everyone get on for? It all depends on how long we get booked for. It depends if we have a 3-hour show or it depends on how long we get at the venue. So that would all depend. It's a great question. Hi, Linda. Thank you. I appreciate it. This has been great. I'm enjoying this very much. So let's go to Margaritaville Showcase. So right now, Christina and I are going to, this is how we decided. So Margaritaville has asked me for the 4 best artists that I have that they want to do a showcase, and then we're going to do that. What I decided is I'm going to get with Christina and look at everyone that's on here that wants to be a part of this. We're going to listen to their music and see if it would be a good fit for Margaritaville. Once we have those 4 people, we're going to let you know that you were one of the 4. However, they also have brought to my attention that they also do there's 2 other places, I believe one's a hotel and a restaurant, that they also have offered us to go and do that as well. So that is what we're going to do for that. Any questions about Margaritaville?
Margaritaville, I'm just putting it in because I know some people that have played there, and a lot of times it's covers more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because that's downtown, like that's the Music Row area, Music Strip area, and a lot of venues down there don't like original music. They want you to play covers only for business wise.
I spoke to Zach Hall, who runs that, and this specific showcase would be originals.
Oh, okay. I was just wanting
Margaritaville itself. It's just being held at Margaritaville. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense because I don't actually myself. I don't go to the Strip at all because it's all covers, or else they don't want you there. Because unless you have a big name for yourself, originals do not matter to them.
Right. Yeah, and that's something that I'm working on that as well. Candy, currently they're telling me that oh, I did not know that you could get banned from the Strip. Well, that's interesting because the guy I spoke to at Margaritaville told me that we could do originals. I'll look into this more. And regarding to that, he told me that there would be $25, and I said I don't know if that's something that we're doing, but that's why what we're going to do is I'm going to make a big pitch and say this is what we have, this is what we can offer, and I'm really hoping that we can do that. But Randy, I did not know that. Randy, can you do me a favor and unmute yourself and share with us a little bit more about
I've actually played down there, and I talked to a lot of the owners because I was surprised how many covers I was hearing on the Strip. And I talked to the 12 Keys Saloon where I played off the Strip. And he's like, oh yeah, you play an original and they're going to ban you. And I heard that from more than one owner. The Strip, all you hear is covers. They want people in there. They want people drinking. Nashville has changed a lot. A lot. So if you want to hear originals, you go to the Grand Ole Opry or you get off the Strip.
Okay. Interesting.
Can I say one more thing? Music Row, you can play originals. They accept it way more. The Strip, like she said, you can get in a lot of trouble for doing originals, and they will kick you out completely and never be back again.
Yeah, they're gonna ban you unless you're at an open mic, like the Bluebird on Monday, like something like that where you're not getting paid. But otherwise,
open mic Writers Round, one of the two. Music Row is very accepting of original music because I've played at Bobby's Idle Hour. They love original music there.
Right, and that's what they told me too. This specific showcase is ran by another individual that's putting shows on at Margaritaville. So I think we'll be okay, but I will look into that and get some answers on that. Thank you for sharing. This is why we're a team. We work together and we get things done together. This is amazing. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Any other questions on Margaritaville? All right. We're going to move on to CMA Fest. CMA Fest is from June 5th to the 8th, and it's one of the biggest country music festivals. I'm working on building talent and stuff for that too. How many people in here are CMA members? Who are CMA members? Randy, you? Anybody else? You're in the review process. Great. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Because if you're a CMA member, you get a lot of the benefits that the Country Music Association offers you. So basically with that, cute puppy. You're distracting me with the puppy, Elizabeth. But with the CMA Fest, I'm currently working with them to see what we can do to get you guys booked over there as well. And still trying to get in the planning phase of payment and stuff like that as well. Any questions on CMA Fest? No questions on CMA Fest. Any questions in general? Any questions in general for me? Oh, you used to be a member. Can I ask why you're not a member now? Just curious. Can you share with us, Debbie? You're muted.
When I first started singing and going out on doing shows and stuff, I got into CMA, and then my son got sick, so I ended up having to drop out of the music industry. And so I'm just now getting back into it, like within the last 3 to 4 years. So I haven't actually got any connections, and that's why I'm with you. And hopefully we can get on a better road than what I was on before I started.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. Any other questions? Does anyone have anything exciting going on? Oh, Candy, are you still here? You are. Can you share with us the Alabama music hall thing that you're doing? I believe typically every Thursday, but it got canceled today. Can you unmute and share more about that?
Sure. We've been we just started this residency. We're playing every Wednesday and Thursday nights here in the Foley area, which is down by Gulf Shores. What we're doing is Kayden helped us connect with Alice Nelson Music, and she came down. We're offering guest spots for all of our ISSA friends, offering those spots to ISSA first. But anyone that's, a songwriter that plays an instrument that wants to come down to join us, we're offering them a spot.
It's country, right?
Yes. Country genre. And the reason we say country is because we're country. So we don't want to have someone who's doing pop or rock. Our audience is country. So we really want to fit that into our audience. If anyone has ever booked a show and you got booked for a rock bar in your country, You know what that feels like when people are not expecting that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we want to make sure that it's genre specific. So those spots, it's for right now, it's not a paid uh special guest spot, and we're offering, you can come out, you can play your original songs. We're offering 2 songs. You If you like to stay, you can stay and back us up. You can be participating in the show. Alice stayed. Thank goodness she did, because I lost my voice last week. So much of the music that I usually do, she knew. So she was able to step in and participate in that. And we had a blast.
Well, and as a result, now we're working on a show to guest with Alice in her hometown. So we just really believe that these independent artists, we're back in the days where singles and albums really aren't selling. Spotify doesn't pay you anything. So we're kind of back in the days of Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash. We got to have each other's back. We got to get each other's paid shows. She came down for not a paid show, but it built a relationship so that we can build paid shows together. So I was just so grateful for her coming down and taking a risk and joining us. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight, but she's amazing.
It was just so much fun. So we're just throwing that out there for any of our ISSA country members. If you are coming down into this area, come down, guest, have a spot with us. It's just a lot of fun. We get to introduce you to our audience. We took a big risk here. We relocated the tour bus, took it all the way from Tombstone, Arizona, just to be here for this. And we're booking right now. We're doing every Wednesday and Thursday through April.
Mhm.
Can I ask where that is gonna be at?
It's in Foley, Alabama.
How do you spell that?
Foley.
Near Gulf Shores.
Yeah. So if you look up the event or the venue where we're playing, it's Alabama Gulf Coast Music Hall.
Okay. And then the days are what again?
Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, I appreciate that because I may come. I'm in Tennessee, so I'm not too far away at all.
Be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I put my email address in there, and actually it's misspelled. It's actually band wanted. So I'm gonna correct that really quick so that you have it. And I'll also put the venue in there too, so you can find it.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I don't know how many of you use the Band Helper app. Candy drugged me into the 20th century with Band Helper. But if you are thinking of guesting with us and you're concerned about chord charts, etc., we can pretty easily send you the keys and the chords that we use for most of our songs if you want to join us on some music. The crowd really loves that. And if you don't, you just want to do your own thing, we'll do a sound check at 3:30 and the show's at 6. So we'll get you all set up so that you're perfect and sound great. And but if you want to do something with us, the Band Helper app's pretty handy.
Awesome.
There's also discounts for the hotel that they partner with down here too. So if you want some information on that, just let us know.
Yeah, I would definitely love information on that. I've searched through the chat and I can't find your email.
I'm putting it in right now. I misspelled it.
Oh, okay.
Typed it wrong. There you go. And I'll make sure and put the venue in there as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Candy's working on paid gigs for us in this area. Only recently were we allowed to step outside the original contract and do that. So if we can form great relationships with some of y'all, if she knows you're going to fit a venue, I'll tell you the most you can help each other, the most we can help each other is help each other get paid gigs in whatever area you're working in. So if you come down here and we hit it off and we can speak well of you and talk greatly about you, then maybe she can help you get some paid bookings the next time you get down, or either either that or before you come down. I think Alice didn't have enough time to even work on that.
Yeah.
But you could even work on it on your way down so that you can guest with us in the big hall and then maybe get some paid bookings around the area.
And if you're ISSA members, they just put up an ISSA touring guide. I added a ton of venues in there.
Absolutely. I was going to actually mention that in our session before we got off that.
Yeah.
Touring Bible is now out. Thank you, Tammany, for that. That was such a beautiful idea. I loved it.
Yes. So I added all of the venues we've worked with, all the way from Arizona to Alabama. So
awesome. Mary Anderson just said Americana Fest is September 9th through 13th. The applications will open up in summer around June. We get to pick a whole day, and we want to do a festival for Americana Fest. We'll keep you posted. Mary, can you share with us, is this Americana Fest, is this a paid thing?
Some of them can be paid. I don't know this year if they are. I know last year with the bigger names, of course, they got that because they were with record labels. But this will be the first time I've actually put on a whole day's festival. And I believe we get ticket sales because, okay, so let's think of it like this. You know how they do CMA Fest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's basically the same thing, but it's Americana Fest. So pretty much all of downtown Nashville is where they're going to do this at, and it's in Nashville every year. And so every day the crowds are going to be out. So we would be responsible for putting on that one day. That's a big ask. I've never been asked that before, to put on a whole festival downtown Nashville for one day. So that's why we're a team, and we're going to figure it out together. I'm assuming, like they did last year, from what the AMA was actually telling me, we get a percentage back of ticket sales. So if you guys can imagine on one day, Americana Fest, especially when they have the bigger names going too, and we have our festival, how many people will be visiting? I don't know if it's 10, 20%, 25%, 30% that we get back, but it's going to be quite a big number. But I don't know how they're going to do it this year. I really don't.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much on that.
Uh-huh.
And was there any other questions about anything? Tours, anything like that?
I would like information about that CRS thing at the very beginning that they talked about.
Yeah, with Brandon, yeah, reach out to Brandon and he has more info on that. That would be a Brandon question. He's not with us.
Can't remember how to reach out to him though.
I'll just send as soon as we get off, or actually I'll just re-put his information in here.
Okay.
I'm gonna put his number.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. While I'm looking people's information up, does anyone want any information from any of the speakers tonight? While I'm doing this, I just did Brandon's phone number, and then I'm gonna do Brandon. Brandon.Morrell 40. Oop. Now I made a mistake. Okay, can I edit? Nope, I can't. Okay, let's see. Brandon Morrell 40 at Gmail. Perfect. And then I'm just gonna reiterate everyone else's emails. First speaker, Christine West at AnswerNet.com. And then her number is 3. And then, oh, Kevin, thank you. I appreciate that. Christina, are you still here to put your contact info in? If you could do that for me, that would be great.
Yes, I'm still here.
Can you put your contact info in the chat for people
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. And something that I just am discovering that I didn't know was a thing, and this is where Keith comes back in and his AI. Apparently, this whole meeting has been annotated by AI, and it's going to give us a summary when we're done with this, which I did not know until just now. So all of you will get that in the email, whether you're watching at a later time, whatever. I'm going to send that to every client of mine, whether you're here with us tonight or already left or not. So, let's see. John Crondis, did you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing in your realm of the Elvis Presley projects?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Trying to figure this thing out here. Yeah, sure. And congratulations. I think Kayden's done a great job here. I've been listening to the whole show. And very interesting panel, a lot of interesting people. Good job. Kudos to you. And Kayden has been helping me on my music project for the last 2-3 years now. And has done a great job, still working with me. And I have a song right now that's doing pretty well in the U.S. charts. It's getting played around the world in several countries, and about Play MPE. I heard one girl talk about that. I'm using Play MPE extensively, and they're our lead radio distributor. And I have a current single called Summer Souvenirs, a song actually written by my father. My father wrote a lot of big hits, and Paul Evans, who wrote for Elvis. And I've been recording for the last few years with a lot of the original Elvis Presley musicians. And on this particular song, the song was shown to Elvis by my father and Paul Evans. They had hits with Elvis. Paul Evans wrote the song I Gotta Know, Something Blue, The Next Step Is Love, that was in the documentary Elvis, That's the Way It Is. And this particular song has the American Sound Studio Band. I'm the lead singer. And we've got now probably more than 100 recordings. Joe Esposito was Elvis Presley's road manager and best friend for 20 years. He became the head of this project and helped start all these recordings. And this song was recorded probably 10, 12 years ago. And it's they're just starting to release my songs. Sony Orchard is helping promote us, and my label signed to them. And this song has the American Sound Studio Band with me. That is the band that recorded Suspicious Minds with Elvis, his last #1 hit. They also recorded Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline and B.J. Thomas' Hooked on a Feeling, Mary Lee Rush's song Angel of the Morning, and 125 charted hits. They were the hottest studio band in the country between, I think, 1967 and 72. And all of them, unfortunately, have died except for the drummer and Gene Chrisman, and he's not playing anymore. But it's just amazing music. If you have a chance to check it out, we're on Spotify, YouTube, and all the streaming services. And the song this week, actually, I just got notified, hit, I think it's number 34 or 35 on the Mediabase Top 40 Activator chart. It was on New Music Weekly, peaked in a couple of their charts, number 10 right before Christmas, and was number 2 on the indie chart. And we're getting so much interest, and it's really very exciting. So if anybody out there likes Elvis, and it's all his people. Now we have, since a lot of these people have died, we're still recording, and I've been urged and pushed to keep going. There's still a number of Elvis musicians involved in the project that are still alive and can play. But we also have 2 of Billy Joel's longtime musicians now that have started playing on the project that wanted to play. The drummer, Liberty DeVito, who's like an amazing drummer still, and Richie Canada, who played saxophone for Billy Joel. The 2 of them are infiltrated on the last new 10 songs that we've started over the last year and a half. So pretty much every month, as Kayden knows, and he's come to one of our sessions, we're in the studio in Nashville. I'm in New York, and just very, very exciting project. And happy to have Kayden on board.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. And then I think there was one more person. Oh, John Graham. That's what it was. John wanted to talk about Spectrum 23.9 and what he's doing. John, are you still here? John Graham? I see your face, but I'm not sure if you're there. Maybe not. I know you want to talk, but I want to give you an opportunity. No, I don't think you're there anymore. Anyway, let's see. Who else didn't get a chance to talk? I want to make sure everyone gets a chance. Oh, we just got Roseanne Serrata who joined us. But that's okay. We're all here. Yeah, you're very welcome. So we're pretty much done. We are going to do another one on Saturday, January 25th at 8 p.m. I hope you all can be there. It would be an absolute great time. We're going to have Mary Jackson's going to talk a lot more about the connection between autism and music, and then Christina and Elliot are going to talk all about Spotify and where Spotify is in our community right now. So that's going to be on Saturday, and I think that's it. Alice, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Alice Perry, if you're able to unmute.
Hey.
Hey, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I'm all good. I guess the thing that we're mostly trapped with is visa for Bailey, so we can get her involved with everybody. But
Absolutely.
we'll just keep working on that one on the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got her a little way that we've worked out has been good to like make a little bit of money. Is so she's set up this thing on her Instagram where she people can subscribe. So they subscribe and they just pay like a small amount of money for like it just goes in every month. And the thing she's sort of doing for them is that she sets up a camera when she's doing a live gig and they get to watch it live. So it's only a new thing because now that she's 18, she's getting a lot more gigs. So it's allowed us to be able to like give that something extra. And that's kind of working quite well. So that's something you guys might want to look into.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just trying to find those like little avenues that you just like make a little bit of money just from each of them. And then hopefully it eventually adds up to actually being able to pay for your music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but no, this has been great. I'm actually still sitting in bed. It's so hot here. It's insane. I can't even go outside. It's so hot.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how we're all freezing here and then it's as hot as heck over there.
Oh yeah, it's like our hottest season. It's like beyond hot. It's like I don't know, like in Fahrenheit, but it's been like 40 degrees for like 4 days in a row. So, which is like unbearable. I think that's like well over 100.
For sure. Hey Roseanne, thank you so much for joining us. Did you want to? I know you came in late. Did you have any questions for me or anyone, Roseanne? If you're able to unmute Roseanne, let me know. Well, we wait for Roseanne to see if she can unmute. Randy, did you have any questions?
Oh, not any questions. But it's been a great show. Been real informative. I have some, updates about the ranch. I'm always taking submissions for that. The show, my company, Artist Ed Development. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. I do have one win that I just wanted to share because we're going to be talking about Spotify. But as I was sick with the flu, I decided to look at my last year's goals. and see if I had actually made any of them for the year. And I realized that my Spotify goal of I wanted to get a song to my collection up to 1 million views. That was my goal. And I actually hit 5 million for the year.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that.
My whole catalog. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to get into that on Saturday. Congratulations to you, Randy.
Thank you.
All right. Dwayne, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm actually glad that we're gonna do Spotify because I'm still fighting them about my account.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get into that on Saturday. That's the plan.
Awesome.
All right. Debbie, any questions for us? No? Elizabeth, any questions or comments for us?
Guaranteed 100% fresh.
Questions? No questions from Melissa? All right, well, oh, John's back. John, did you want to go over Spectrum? I was looking for you earlier. If you can unmute, you have to unmute.
Yes. All right. Oh no, not you, Cronus, but hello, Cronus.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi,
And
John.
I don't know if oh actually yes, I do see Christina and Candy. So hello, or hello, my little two music mamas. So but yeah, so Spectrum is I feel like on the move. So which which I mean, this is obviously something we can always I can always bring up with Kayden if we do move on. But so long story short, so I'm in the process of filing for a FCC license, and now that we're officially a nonprofit with 501c status, I feel like that is going to hopefully do us good to and in a way that it's gonna be a lot more cheaper. Because honestly, and I was kind of talking to Kim about this. I really ideally would like to have like a for-profit radio station. Which honestly, if we made Spectrum a radio station, I mean, we're still gonna probably make it for profit. Meaning we would sell ads or like do sponsorships. So, but I will tell you though, again, kind of, again, this right now is just in the very early stages. We're basically, I basically asked for to get approval for a construction permit, at least here in Indiana. Um, uh, um, and and what's funny is that so one of the grants I was trying to get in December, I have not heard anything on. And I don't know if you guys know anything about the autistic mind, but I'm often second guessing myself, wondering, am I annoying them? Am I doing too much? So I reached out last week. It's like, listen, am I doing this the right protocol to receive this grant? And hadn't not heard anything from it or back from them. So I reached out to one of my constituents at an autism or Partners in Autism, which is a autism corporation that kind of also helps us meet there. I know Kayden had mentioned an autism group that John Paul, and I didn't realize that you knew John Paul, Kayden. I didn't real I did not know that you
He is
made that.
he's a guy in Canada that sends me artists all the time.
Oh, okay.
That's
Well,
how we
I wish I would have known that because
no, he was.
I
I didn't
so,
know he knew either.
all right. So funny story, and I don't know why John Paul did this, but I had sent a message to everyone in our autism group about who was going to meet at Will's birthday party at Olive Garden, and John Paul listed himself as going.
Oh, okay.
And so I went through the list of people going and not going, and I like actually mentioned that John Paul was going. These people were probably like thinking, "Who the hell is John Paul?"
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
answer your question. Hold on one sec, John, before he hops off. What was the tour you posted? The tour we were just talking about a while ago. I'm not gonna go over all of that right now. What I am going to do is I'm going to send everyone the recording, so you can rewatch. So that's what we're gonna do there. Hold on one second.
Oh.
Continue scanning.
But that's why we're gonna do that. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you guys rewatch it. That way we can do that. But John, thank you so much for sharing. That's all we have time for tonight. I think I went through everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. But yeah, that's all I got for you. You're more than welcome to just sit here and chat or head out. But I'm gonna stop this. And thank you everyone for your time tonight. This concludes part 1, session 1 of KJG Medium Promotions LLC. Kayden Gordon signing out.
Remember to take